Life change does not happen in one or two giant moments where everything is crystal clear and you define your life. It happens in hundreds, thousands of little tiny moments that determine how you're going to live. Those tiny little moments and movements make up the course of your entire life. And so this video is just one tiny moment in the course of your journey to possibly delete social media. There's going to be some grand moment that really defines it. But your journey is going to be defined by how many of these videos you watch of people telling you to delete social media and get into the real world. And so this video probably won't solve it, but maybe it's an interesting little path along the way. Now, I should also be very clear that I have never been completely in the world of social media. I've made some little adventures into it. I've had one for a company website. I've had a personal one for a little season here and there, but I've never just been completely caught in the world of social media. And so I don't know exactly what it's like. I can guess. I know what the little bits of it are like. But if you're completely, utterly, hopelessly lost in the world of social media, not the real world, then this video may not be quite as helpful. I may be looking at it a little too just basic. I may not be looking at it in all the details. And so if there's anything, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Let's start by saying we just don't think about it. We just do it. And so the moment you start thinking about it, the moment something might change. So this is me trying to get you to think about it. First excuse, the excuse that I think is one of the biggest ones, because these are the top 3 biggest excuses, is that you're going to miss something. You're going to miss out. There's fear of missing out. You're not going to hear something important. How do people know what's important in your life? Well, here's the thing. You're missing out on a bunch of stuff anyway. There are whole countries. There are whole societies happening. There are things happening on the moon that you're never going to know about. There are things happening in another country you're never going to know about. There are things happening in your backyard you're never going to know about. And if you knew everything, well, you would just know information and not be able to do anything because you'd be ingesting information all the time. And for some reason, we think that just because we can get out of our little shell and have a little bit more than a little bit of information, then we think that we should get as much information as possible, but there's no limit to it. And so if you do not put a limit on the information that you know and that you need, then you're just always going to be wanting more information, and you're going to get caught and hopelessly lost in the information because there's a certain amount of information that human beings can take in every day, and you're going to exceed it. And so if you are not deleting social media because you think you're going to miss out, just know that you're missing out on a bunch of stuff already. And if that panics you, then go ahead and delete social media and you'll miss out on a lot less, because there's so many things happening all around the world and you're never going to know about them. You're going to miss some news that someone didn't tell you about, and you can be completely up to date, but it's not going to make anything better. Knowing everything is not going to solve your problems. And there's a bunch of problems that are now your problem because they've become your problem. Because a problem does not become a problem unless it becomes your problem through proximity or through relationship. So a fire in your backyard is very much your problem. A fire across the city that you don't hear about is not really your problem. But if the fire is across the city at your aunt's house, now it's a little bit of your problem. A problem is not your problem unless it becomes your problem through proximity or through relationship. And so the moment that we start listening to what's happening in the world and all the things that are happening, of course, there's some very good things that need to be brought awareness to, but you can't save every little thing. You're not powerful enough to solve every single problem, and you liking it or hearting it or sharing it is not going to solve the problem anyway. So there's real problems in the world. There's real things happening. Social media is a great way to bring awareness to it. But there's so many problems that you can't focus on all of them at once. And so you're overwhelmed, you're numb, you're paralyzed to all the problems happening because you're not actually doing anything about it. It's not actually helping you. So if you're not deleting social media, then just know that you're missing out on stuff anyway. Ignorance is bliss. Don't take that too far. It's good to know what's happening in the news and be informed, but there is just a way that the news is going to reach you. I've been at work and there's been news that happened and someone tells me. Every once in a while I'll look up news that's happening, or my family will keep me informed of what's happening. And if you're terrified that you're not going to be able to share your big news with the world, well, let me just share my personal story. I do not have social media, a personal social media account. My fiance does not have a social media account. And so we were curious, how would people know that we had gotten engaged when she went from being my girlfriend to being my fiance? And well, somehow, through forces not yet fully understood, somebody in our family had social media. And if I had posted it, I don't know, maybe I'd be somewhat popular in social media. I don't know how big of a following I'd have, but I doubt it would get anything huge traction. It might, I think about my friends who posted stuff that have told me about it, and you might get quite a few likes or quite a few views, whatever. But somehow, even though neither of us had social media, As of right now, 52,000 people have seen that video. I don't know how. Everyone in my hometown knows I'm engaged and I don't have social media. So somehow it's just going to work out. You're not going to miss out too much. You've got friends who are going to share the news. News travels through any form, and social media is just one form. So if you don't have social media, you're going to be okay. All right, we're moving on to number two. Number two is the biggest excuse of, well, it's how I keep up with people, or there's people that I only know on social media, or that's the only way I have their contact information. However you want to phrase it, the point is that they don't want to delete Instagram or Snapchat or whatever social media platform because it's the way that they keep up with certain people. And well, here's my answer to that. First off, the people that you actually talk to in person are your friends. There's people that we keep up with, and it's nice to keep up with them, but they're just acquaintances and they're not actually friendships. And there's only a limit to how many of those people you can keep up with. And keeping up with people is not the same as being a friend. So go find some real friends. There's our real friends that maybe you're keeping up with for a season on social media, and there's great ways to do that besides social media. There's the thing called texting. Texting is where you open up the messages app on your phone and you type in a message to somebody and you send a message, and it's personal. And it's a lot better than exciting, woohoo, congrats, so cool, yay, awesome, yay. Social media is such a terrible way to keep up with people. You may be the most connected person in the world, and yet you're going to feel the most lonely and the most isolated person in the world. Social media is not the best way to keep up with people. Now, it may be a great way to find someone's contact information. It had a purpose at the start, but now social media is just a web. It's a trap, and it's not actually engaging and keeping up with people and connecting them in a deeper way. And so if your reason is that the only way that I can keep up with certain people with social media, well, social media has a handy thing called a chat feature, and you can say, hey, I'm about to delete social media because I think it's going to be better for me. If you want to keep up, send me your number and I will reach out to you, and I don't have to stay in touch. And then you can just do that, or you can create an email list if you love writing blog posts and newsletters. There's so many different ways that you can go about keeping up with people beyond social media. And for those people who are like, well, my friends only communicate on social media, they don't text me back. Well, just tell them, hey, I'm deleting social media. If you actually are my friend, you'll text me back. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but you get the point. If someone's only going to reach out to you on social media and never actually engage in a real conversation, then is it really worth keeping up with some of those people? I know there's a bunch of loopholes and plot holes and twists and things that are total exceptions in your case, but in general, it's kind of a lame excuse. There's a bunch of different things you can do to keep up with people beyond social media. The photo album one. If social media is your photo album, it's kind of like having a freezer, a nice freezer, and you've got all your frozen food in your freezer. And this freezer is spewing poisonous gas, and it's slowly poisoning all of the food in the freezer. And your mind is, well, it's a nice freezer and it's a great place to keep food. But you are breathing in noxious gas that's coming out of that freezer, and it's just not worth keeping it. It's too much of a temptation. It's just there, and it's going to ruin your life. In some tiny, tiny way, your life is going to be better if you're off of social media. And so the best thing to do is just go to another freezer that's probably also free. I don't know a bunch of apps off the top of my head, but there are apps out there that will keep your photos and organize them a lot better than social media can. It may be a process downloading them and all that, but it's worth it to get off social media. And so if photo album is the reason you're not deleting it, then it's okay to move freezers in order to not breathe in noxious gas. The third one, and this is the one that I've seen get people so many times, it's gotten me several times, is they say, I deleted it, but they didn't actually delete it. They just deleted the app. And deleting the app is not enough. Deleting the app off your phone is a great start. It's a great way to kind of test the waters of, oh, I can survive in the real world without being distracted all the time. But when it comes down to deleting the app, it's not deleting social media. You can always get it back so easily. Now, I know some people who will delete the app and they'll have somebody else who will have the password. They'll create a new password, whether it's every week or every month. And it's a very ambitious way to use social media only for those few little minutes a week. And then their password is deleted, changed by somebody else, and then they go back on. That's super complicated. I think the best course of action is just delete it. And completely delete it. Completely delete your account. And I mean, it will freak out and it will panic. And whatever app you're using, for me, the last one I deleted was Twitter or X, and it just started, it just could not believe that I was going to deactivate my account. And so it took 30 days in order to make sure, just to make sure I was sure that I didn't want to breathe in poisonous, noxious gas. And so for all the social media people out there who deleted the app, that is a great first step, but that is an excuse. That's not actually deleting your account. Because the problem is, deep down, you're thinking, what is the world going to do when I disappear, when I stop sending post notifications, and when I stop posting my workout routine, and when I stop liking their posts? They're just going to worry about me. Well, in the real world, that would be a sign of worry. But in the online world, there's too much distraction and there's too many things happening. And if you can imagine about 1 million little dots on the screen, and then all of a sudden you were to remove one of those dots, I just don't think anyone would notice. Once again, in the real world, your interactions impact people. That's how God created relationships. You're going to impact people, and when you disappear, there is a huge price to be paid. But on the online world, that's not what God created. It's a fake world, and it does have a purpose. It does have some cool uses. But if you delete your account, you're not so popular that the world just can't do without you. In fact, they might actually be inspired to delete their account. And if enough people did that, then social media could be brought to their knees. But the really scary part about this is that if you delete your app and you delete your account and your social media is no more, then you have to find something to do with your life. You can't just distract your life away. But what better time to find purpose in life than right now, instead of on your deathbed wishing that you had done something else with your life and deleted social media a lot earlier. I know there's a lot. I know it's very, 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 very biased and one-sided against social media. But those are 3 common things that I think are keeping people from deleting their social media. And I think they're kind of dumb excuses. But I know there's a bunch of other excuses, and some of them are legitimate. And so check out the description for a couple others and some of my responses to that. And if you have a really good excuse, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it.